Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Holte from the Fargo Church. Last October, Presbytery voted to adopt a new committee structure, and I've been asked to give a brief history to this process. As you may recall, we changed the personnel structure of Presbytery several years ago, but we left the committee structure alone. As well, our denomination approved a new revised Book of Order, which affords us the opportunity to change or to streamline how we accomplish our required tasks. We need to acknowledge as well that our presbytery is half the size that it once was, that the number of PCUSA pastors has shrunk as well, and we no longer have an executive presbyter. And yet, we've continued to try and run Presbytery the same way that we did in the 1970s. Given all of these factors, a task force was formed a couple of years ago to see how feasible it is to restructure how we govern ourselves within the Presbytery. This culminated at the Presbytery Meeting in October, when we voted to adopt this new committee structure. And now Stated Clerk Mike Lacco will describe the new structure itself.
I'm Mike Lacco, Stated Clerk of the Presbytery. The current committee structure and the Presbytery Council will be replaced with 4 groups called pods, each with core responsibility. These 4 pods are intended to provide similar support in the areas of leadership, mission, care for congregations, and care for pastors within the presbytery and for its members, while doing so in a streamlined structure requiring fewer volunteers, serving at times for shorter terms of service. As you look more closely at the tasks within each pod, you will discover that the prior responsibilities of the Committee on Ministry are sprinkled throughout the pods. The Committee on Ministry had become very busy, and the Book of Order requires its prior tasks be accomplished, but allows the presbytery to determine how. Each pod will have a leader elected by the presbytery to ensure the pod is doing its work. Task leaders in each pod, also elected by the presbytery, will have assigned tasks which they will be responsible for. The leadership pod will consist of a chair and the 3 other pod leaders, along with the moderator and vice moderator of presbytery. As an example, the leadership pod will ensure that the annual financial review required by the Book of Order is accomplished. This pod will also deal with personnel and budget issues. The mission pod will include the existing ministry teams, Chigoria, Youth, Badation, 1001 Worshiping Communities, and Earth Care. The Presbyterian Women and ministries with the University of Jamestown and Clearwater Forest are also part of this pod. Ministries may be added and subtracted just as they were in the past, as passion for their ministry builds or wanes over time. The Care for Congregations pod will work to maintain a healthy environment among congregations, pastoral leaders, and congregants. For example, it will work with pastoral nominating committees to ensure the church has leadership as they transition from one pastor to the next. The 4th pod is Care for Pastoral Leadership. It provides support for pastoral leaders. The current Committee on Preparation for Ministries, Care, and Oversight of Inquirers and Candidates will function in this pod. They will also work with conflicts as they arise between a congregation and their pastoral leaders. 2 current committees will remain the same, the Nominating Committee and the Committee on Representation.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Ogden, and I'm a ruling elder from the East Grand Forks Church. I have served as Mendenhall's elder delegate for many years, and during that time I have also served on various presbytery committees, task force, and administrative commissions. I can truly say that the time I have spent has been very rewarding, and I would encourage anyone who has not yet done so to consider volunteering to serve in a presbytery committee. As Mary stated, our presbytery membership is half of what it used to be, and we have fewer Presbyterian pastors serving in our pulpits. Our strength is that we have an abundance of lay members within our presbytery, you and me, who have served in various capacities to ensure that the Presbytery of the Northern Plains remains a viable Christian entity within our geographic bounds and beyond. We want this to continue, and to make sure that that happens, the lay people's commitment to service is critical under our new structure within the presbytery. As lay people, we serve as the elder delegates for our congregation, but in addition to that, we can serve on various task forces within the presbytery under our new structure. Each of us have talents to offer, and we all have a passion for the work of the church. Together, we can make the load lighter for everyone. Please listen for God's call to you, and join with us in this very exciting times in the life of the Presbytery of the Northern Plains. If you have any questions or comments with regard to our new structure, please feel free to contact the Presbytery office, and they will assist you in finding answers and addressing your comments.